keynote is Mike Walker. Mike Walker is a football legend. He played 10 seasons in the Canadian Football League as a defensive tackle, where he was part of the Edmonton Elks and Hamilton Tiger Cats. Prior to his professional career, he played both baseball and football at Treasure Valley Community College, then went on to play football at Washington State University. Go Cougs! Go Cougs! Okay? And where he received a bachelor's degree of physical education and a master's in education administration. So we do study out there, guys. We get degrees, you know. After his playing days were over, Mike coached high school, college, and professional teams. In 2021, he was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and earlier this year, Mike joined the Tiger Cats Wall of Honor, where his number proudly hangs in the Tim Hortons field. Mike's dedication, perseverance, and commitment to his goals has propelled him to wins both on and off the field. His leadership and love of people extends his reach as a coach and mentor far beyond the players on his team. Mike Walker is truly a legend and a mentor, and we give flowers where flowers are due while people are still alive. Go Cougs, go to Y, and welcome Mike Walker.
Wow, welcome everybody. I'm glad everybody made it up. Okay, I click right here, right? Down, okay. All right, so real quick, I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. Anybody knows where that is? Anybody? You don't want to go there. You know, when I came out here, I'll never forget, I met my wife at Washington State, but I'm gonna go back. So, Indianapolis, we have no hills, mountains, whatever. There's nothing but trees and cornfields. And I'm serious, that's it. Where I grew up, I always wanted to go sledding. I used to see people sledding and skiing on TV. I was like, man, why can't we do that? So we're outside. We got a hill like 10 feet. That's all we had. But it's amazing. The Northwest, I fell in love with the Northwest back in 1979. I was going to go to Purdue, but they wouldn't let me play baseball and football. And that was my love, because baseball was one of my first loves. And a cousin of mine lived in Portland. He said, Mike, why don't you come on out here and check it out? So I was like, oh man, okay, I've never been on a plane. I want to go west. I want to see what it's like. Because I used to sit in front of my TV and see California on TV, and I was like, man, here we are in Indiana. It's 50 below zero, snow all over the place, and these guys are out here surfing and doing all this stuff. So I wanted to go west. But Northwest was as far as I got, and that's where I ended up, and it ended up being a great deal for me. I came out here. I was going to go to Mount Hood in Portland, and I ended up at Treasure Valley, which is Eastern Oregon, right by Boise State. But it was great for me because I got a chance to play baseball and football. And, you know, I started out my freshman year. I had a great football season. Then baseball came around. I played, and it was a good season. I had a good season, but football letters started coming in. That's how funny things work. I started getting letters and scholarship offers. I was like, oh, man, I got to go this route. I can't play baseball. It takes forever to make it in baseball. You got to go to the other leagues, and you're in the minor leagues trying to make it, and it's a hard way to go. So I chose football. And believe it or not, I wanted to be a Husky. But, yeah, I wanted to, but, you know, because I love Seattle. And what's his name, Don James, he wouldn't give me any play at all. So then Wazoo, they got in touch with me. I was like, man, I got to go play football. I had a chance to go to Oregon State, but back then, Oregon State, they were terrible back then. I didn't want to go there. So Wazoo came around, and I went to visit. But funny thing, on my recruiting trip. It was in January, so I fly into Pullman. It's about 2 feet of snow. I was like, oh man, I grew up in snow. I gotta go snow again. Oh gee. So when I get there though, I meet a guy named Rich Glover. He played for Nebraska. He was an All-American, all this, and he was gonna be my D-line coach. I was like, oh man, this guy's cool. And I met the head coach, and he was a great guy. I had a ball. They that Friday night I got there, we went sledding on a giant hill. I had a ball. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go sledding, and we had a ball. We were up all night. Then the next night, that Saturday night, we go to a disco. I'd never been to a disco. I had a ball. It's like, man, this is cool. And then that Sunday, I hung out with the head coach and the other coach and had a ball, ended up committing to Washington State. Best move I ever made. It was great. Washington, forgot about them. They're my enemies now. I hate those guys. How many Huskies in here? Yeah, not that many. Not that many. That's great. That's great. Oh no, there's one over there. I forgot. I'm sorry. But so as a coach and a player, you guys are familiar, like Apple Cup. How many people been to an Apple Cup? As a coach and a player, I've been at 17 Apple Cups. Everyone was exciting to the end. Everyone. It don't matter what the record is. It doesn't matter. It's an exciting game. It's intense. Coming down that tunnel, I remember coming down the tunnel, and from the locker room, their meeting room was right there, and it's only like 8 feet wide. You got all these football players, 300 pounds with pads on. If we ever got in a fight in that tunnel, people would die. People would die. It's amazing, and it's so intense. The rivalry. I'll never forget. I was on the bottom of the pile after I tackled this guy, and this Husky lineman was hitting me in the stomach. I was like, "What are you doing, man?" And he's looking at me and growling. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is real. This is real. It's real. It's a real rivalry. It's serious." So. I could talk forever. Let me move on here. So let me see. Let me work this. Okay, yeah. Let's show some stuff so you guys will see what I'm about. Who's familiar with football highlights? I know some of you guys are. So watch number 61. That was my number.
Congratulations, Mike, on behalf of the city of Hamilton and our avid fans, on earning your place on the Wall of Honor.
So I'm going to talk about hard work and what it takes. Ever since I was a kid, Willie Mays was my idol. I love that guy. But baseball, like I said, was my first love. But because Willie Mays had such an impact on me, I wanted to be professional sport, anything. I didn't care what it was. And growing up in Indiana, Indiana was a basketball state. And I was too big to play basketball. I tried, but I fouled out every game. So I could never stay in the game. I was always fouling out. I was too big. But I played anyway because I wanted to be a part of the basketball team because basketball is big time in Indiana. Who's seen the movie Hoosiers? I played in 2 of those gyms. Remember the state final where that guy hit that shot the last second? That's Hinkle Fieldhouse. That's Butler University. I played in that gym. I've been there. And one more quick thing about Indiana. When I was growing up, I'm sorry, I hate to keep going back, but it had a big impact on me. So the Cincinnati Reds, Indianapolis was their farm team. It was called the Indianapolis Indians. So I grew up watching Ken Griffey Sr., Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, George Foster, Joe Morgan, all those guys came through Indianapolis Indians. I seen those guys. Me and my buddies used to stand out on the left field fence during batting practice. And George Foster, when he was up, balls come flying over the fence. I would go home with like 30 baseballs. And, you know, my kids, they watch the movie Sandlot right now. They had to struggle for one baseball. I had 50 baseballs in my backyard. So it was easy to get baseball. So that's a little bit of my little childhood. This is way back in the 1960s. I'm going way back. But so here's the thing about education, all that. I got to Wazoo. I wanted to be a physical education teacher. That's what I wanted to be. And so I worked hard to get that education degree. And then later on, I went to Canada. And I had to leave early, so I didn't finish my degree. So I had to go back to finish. And I had one semester. That's when I met my wife. I was going back. It was my second season. I was going back just to work out and get my degree and get back to Canada, get back to playing. And so I'm in the training room. Real quick story. I hate to do this, but I got a bunch of stories. So I'm in the training room at Wazoo, and I see this girl, but I better say lady. My wife gets on my case about saying girl all the time. This lady was on the bench, and she was nursing her hamstring. I was like, hey, what's wrong? And she looked kind of down. I was like, hey, you seen the new movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy? I'm trying to cheer her up. No, I haven't seen it. We should go sometime. So I'm trying to be all sly, yeah, slick, like, yeah, okay, so let's go to the movies. I stood her up. So I stood her up. Oh, boy. So then I go to a party this weekend, that weekend. She's at the party. I was like, oh, man, what the heck am I doing? I just messed that up. So my friend came to the rescue. He begged her to give me another chance, so I walked her home that night, and she said, I said, can we go tomorrow? And I gave her a time, and she said, if I'm not there at 5 o'clock on the dot, she'll never see me again. And her friends were like, he's not showing up, he's not coming. I was there at 5 o'clock on the dot. We've been together for 40 years since, 40 years. Married for 37. It's amazing. I don't know where that time goes. Gee, that was 40 years ago. But she's beautiful. She's a teacher at Stadium. She ran track for Wazoo, and I couldn't believe what I saw when I saw her running. You guys know a quarter mile. You know what a quarter mile is, right? One time around the track. Imagine doing that with hurdles. Imagine the 400 hurdles. I saw her do that. I was like, oh, man, look at that. Gee. But she's amazing, and she's been coaching track, too, for 30 years. So she's going to try and be here after school today. Maybe you guys get to meet her. But let me get off that. I'm straying here. Let me move on here. So, yeah, like I said, I had a dream, and Willie Mays was my idol. I wanted to be a professional player in some kind of way, and football ended up being that. And I just started to set my goals. You guys know about short-term goals, long-term goals, and attainable goals. You got to do that, because if you don't set goals, nothing's going to happen. You have to set goals. It keeps you on track. It keeps you where you're supposed to be. You got to have goals. It can be long, it can be attainable, it can be whatever. Set a goal. It doesn't matter what it is. Set goals. And you know, sure, I play football. But everybody in here has a talent. Everybody has a talent. One of my coaches used to always say, a star is born every day. Every day. It don't matter where it is, there's a star born. Because if you think about it, for a while there, people thought when Michael Jordan left the NBA, there was going to be no more. It's like Michael Jordan's leaving the NBA. Who are we going to look at now? Look at it now. Every team's got like 2 or 3 great players that were better than Michael Jordan, even though Michael Jordan was the best NBA player ever. So they try to say, no, he wasn't, but they used to kill Michael Jordan, but he would still score 60 points. That's how good this guy was. But they thought the NBA was gonna tank after that. Stars born every day. Here comes LeBron. Here comes Antetokounmpo. Here comes Joel Embiid, all kind of just players. It's tons of players out there. So everybody has a talent. You got to find that talent, and you got to make it work. And there's ways to make it work. Let me move on here. Let's see what I got now. I always always made sure that I had three things, three C's in my work ethic. Commitment, you got to commit to something. You got to find it, you got to commit to something. Consistency, be consistent with what you're doing, and it builds confidence. So when I started coaching at Wazoo, I had a thing on my wall in my office. It's called EDD, Everyday Drills. Everybody put that down. Everyday drills. You can't go wrong with an everyday drill. The reason why, find the things that work, and work on those every single day. Find a spot, because I used to do it right before practice. When practice started, I set aside 20 minutes where I worked on a speed technique, a pass rush technique to get to the quarterback, to try and kill the quarterback. You guys heard that, right? I said kill the quarterback. Back when I played, I tried to kill the quarterback. I can smile, I'm a nice guy, but when the football turns on, when I'm on that field, the second I snap on that helmet, I'm trying to kill the quarterback. Because if you take the quarterback out of the game, you got a chance to win. You got a chance to win. Just take the quarterback out of the game. You got a chance. So, everyday drill, find the technique, find what works, find what will help you to build what you're trying to do. It's called an EDD. Stay with that. Be consistent with it. Let's see. Man, you got to keep good company. You got to have good people around you. If you feel like the person that you're hanging with, the group that you're hanging with, it's time to get out. If you're trying to accomplish something, you're trying to get to that goal and achieve what you're trying to achieve, you got to have good people around you. You got to. These guys right here, we played together for 8 years. And I think we led the league in sacks 4 out of those 8 years. One year we had like 80 sacks, and that's incredible. That was the year I had 21 sacks. And a couple of my buddies had 17, and linebackers had a few, but that's the year we won the Grey Cup. The Grey Cup is like the Super Bowl of Canada. Who knows who Warren Moon is? Raise your hand. Warren Moon. Warren Moon started in Edmonton before he played for the Houston Oilers and then the Seahawks. Warren Moon played for the Edmonton Eskimos for 5 years, maybe 6 years, and he won 5 Grey Cups in a row. That's like 5 Super Bowls in a row. And that's when he went to the Houston Oilers. And remember, guys, Warren went up there to the CFL because they wouldn't take a minority black quarterback in the NFL. They passed over him. They passed over a lot of the minority quarterbacks, and Warren went up there to prove himself, and he did. And then he came back down to Houston, and he got it done. Man, he's like one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the NFL ever. And he started in Canada, though. I had a chance to come back down after my year. I had 21 sacks, but they offered me a better contract, and I didn't want to start all over and be a rookie again, so I stayed. And I liked my coaches, and I liked my teammates that I had, so I didn't want to go anywhere. So in a while here, I'm gonna let you guys ask some questions about the Canadian Football League. 3 types of people in your life. I learned this a while back. People that are from around the way, and those are the people that you grew up with. And, you never let those guys go because your friends are your friends and they stay friends forever. But people that are in the way, and those are people that are in your way, that are trying to block what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to achieve. And then there's people that make a way. Those are the people you want to hang with. Stay with those people, work with those people, and those are the kind of friends you want that are going to help you get to where you're trying to go. What motivates you? That's critical. I used to, every pro football player, I think, has these deals that they do the night before a game. Everybody has that. Me, I used to watch Bruce Lee movies and Rocky movies. Corny is good. Sometimes corny and phony is good. If it motivates you, who cares? Who cares? That used to get me fired up watching Bruce Lee kill people. Who cares? But it got me in the mood. It got me in the mood. Rocky movies, when Rocky beat Drago, whatever, that guy's 6'8", he beat that guy. I was fired up. It don't matter what it is. Whatever motivates you, use it. If it's a movie, if it's your favorite meal, if it's your family member that you got to call, use that. It's whatever it takes to motivate you, do it. Who cares if it's corny or phony or fake? Yeah, Rocky's fake. But I guarantee you, if you sit there and watch Rocky, you'll get fired up. You'll be ready to go box. You'll be ready to go box. It don't matter. Your favorite song? I used to pull up to the stadium in my car before I went in to get dressed for the game. I'd sit there for like 20 minutes, put on my favorite jam. And then I'm getting in the mood, because you guys back right now, if you watch the football players on pregame, they all got those big headphones. We had those little plastic, that little wire that go over your head with that little plastic foam. Remember those headphones with the cassette player? That's what we had. I wish I had the stuff they had nowadays. They're out there with these big old headphones, wireless, they're jamming, getting ready. We had those little, you could barely hear that little cotton thing on your ear right there. That was stupid. The heck were they thinking? Oh man, that's amazing. But I wish I had the technology and the stuff. They're on the sidelines nowadays looking at they got the iPads, looking at the former plays. We had to go in there, we're drawing stuff in the dirt. We're trying to do a play in the dirt. They got iPads now. Oh man, these guys are so, oh man, it makes me mad. I missed out on so much. Oh man. But another thing used to motivate me, like when I'm standing singing the national anthem, we're standing on the sideline, I would think about my mom, my dad, my family. If that's not motivation, I don't know what is. Think about your family if it's going to motivate you to get where you're trying to go. Get in that moment. Think about your family. It's got to be serious, and you'll get motivated. You will get motivated. Like right now, I'm on the way back of getting out of this. I had 2 spine surgeries and 1 neck surgery. In 2018, I was bedridden for actually a whole year. And that's why I like the YMCA. That's why I love the Gig Harbor YMCA. They got me back on my feet. They got me back on my feet. I started going there. Therapy was right upstairs. The people there are great. They're so nice. I love that place. They got me back on my feet. I didn't even think I was going to be able to, like, I got a walker now. I can do my walker. I can do walking sticks. But I could have been in this wheelchair for the rest of my life, but I'm not going down that road. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm going to work to get back on my feet, to get back walking again, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there. But kudos to the YMCA for getting me back on my feet. Okay, let's move on. Man, what it takes to be the best. What it takes to be the best. Everybody's got something that they're striving for. Everybody's got a goal. Everybody's trying to get somewhere. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in here. Everybody's trying to do something. So, what it takes. Hard work, the impossible becomes possible. You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. It's not going to just be given to you. It's not going to be mailed to you. They're not going to be at your door, knocking on your door, giving you what you want. You got to work at it. You get out of what you put in. Simple as that. I always tell my players that. You put the work in, you'll achieve what you're trying to achieve. If you don't work at it, you're just going to be average Joe. Who wants to be average? Why? Why be average? Tell me why. Try and be the best you can be. Be the best you can be. Why not? Why not? Hard work beats talent that doesn't work hard. You know, I see a lot of talented people. The talented people, they stay at this level because they rely on their talent. But if you find somebody that's talented and put work in, like Kobe Bryant, like LeBron James, those kind of people that are talented and that put that work in, they end up being the greatest. That's how you do it. I had to work for what I had. I had to work for what I got. I had a little bit of talent, but I always found a way to try and keep an edge on my opponent, to try and keep an edge on everything I did. I was never satisfied. That's another thing. Never be satisfied. If you're satisfied, you're average Joe. You'll just be right here. Never be satisfied. Always try and work to get better. Always trying to improve what you do. Look, study your peers, study people, study your peers, people that are in the same realm that you're doing. Study them, see what they do that do better. There's always something out there. Don't hesitate to study your peers. They're always doing something better. Somebody's always out there doing something better. So you find what it is and make it work for you. Make it work for you. Aspire to inspire. If you're standing still, you're going to get passed. You're going to get passed by. So, you know, when I played, I always pride myself on being the first one on the field at practice and the last one to leave. I was always out there first, working on something I needed to work on. I stayed after to work on something I needed to work on. If you go right in the locker room, you're not achieving anything. Not achieving anything. I also approach practice like this. This is the way I was. When practice started, I treated practice like a game. It was game situation for me every day. Every day. That way, if you treat practice like a game, you get in the game, it's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. You're flowing, you're glowing, you're like just gliding through everything. There was one time I was so ready. They came out of the huddle, and I'm standing there. The offensive lineman came out of the huddle. I'm looking at him, and I'm grinning. He's looking at me like, man, what's wrong with this dude? I'm grinning, and I looked at him. I was like, hey, man, this is going to be a long day. I'm just going to let you know right now. I'm going to be all over you. He looked at me. I had his number right then. Talk about confidence. If you treat practice like a game, that confidence is overflowing. It's like you're ready to explode. I was so confident. I'm laughing at the guy when he comes to the line of scrimmage like, man, ain't no way you're going to block me. I'm going to be in your quarterback's face all day. And I probably was. Because I was ready. I treated practice like a game. They used to get mad at me. I said, I don't care, man. I'm getting ready. Walker, slow down. I said, no, man, I'm not slowing down. No, I don't have time for that. I'm trying to get ready for the game. I'm not slowing down. They used to get mad at me. So that's all right. That was 40 years ago. So those days are gone. So, but man, did I love the game. Yeah, your future is upon you. And I see all you guys are in here are pretty young. Me, I just turned 66. I can't believe it. Gee, where in the heck? 66. I'm only 4 years from 70. Wow. Who in here is over 70? Oh, thank you. Wow, that's great. But man, you decide where you're going to be. Nobody's going to decide for you. You decide. I know you guys are trying to make that move and move up in your careers. That's why you're here. So you make that decision. You decide. You decide where you're going to be. And decide who you're going to be. What you're going to be. You make that decision. It's all up to you. You know, I'll never forget, a long time ago, my high school coach, he asked me, Mike, what do you want to be? And then where do you want to go? Coach, I want to go to college. I want to go to college. I want to play college football. And he goes, you got to put that extra work in, son. And I was like, man, what are you talking about? You got to do extra work. You got to get stronger. You got to get faster. He showed me the way, because I didn't know. I didn't know anything about running bleachers. He told me about running bleachers. He told me about running hills, about running sprints, doing all this stuff. I didn't know any of that stuff. He taught me how to do all that stuff. There's always somebody out there that's going to give you a little bit of knowledge that's going to get you over that edge. And I took that. I rolled with it. I had that dream from high school and never looked back. Never looked back. But I enjoyed my career because people ask me, you know, they see me in this wheelchair and they go, Mike, was it worth it? If you had a chance to go back and do it all over again? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. The adrenaline, it's like an addiction hitting that quarterback. It's the greatest feeling in the world. You know what I used to do? Here's what I used to do. Because I played on AstroTurf. This is how barbaric it was. You guys know what AstroTurf is, right? That's like this right here. This is what we played on. This carpet right here was carpet. So what I used to do, when I hit a quarterback, I would drive him in the ground, and I would sit there and wait till he got up. I wanted to see if I left a dent in the ground. That's what I used to do. But you guys are thinking like, wow, this guy's weird. No, that's just football. That's how you have to attack it. At my position, at a defensive lineman's position, it's war in there. It's dirty. It's hard. It's kill or be killed in there. Bottom line. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but if you go in there nice and taking it easy and not attacking the line of scrimmage, you will get beat. You will get beat. So, I'm getting off in a football tangent. Sorry about that. Hey, I'm going to open this up to questions. Do you guys have any questions? Because I know you don't know anything about the CFL football, Canadian Football League. Anybody got any questions? Ask me anything.
Scored any touchdowns?
What's that?
You scored any touchdowns?
Yes, 2 in my career. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. One, I had an interception, and I picked off a deflected pass, and I scored 2 touchdowns in my career. Yes, I did. And one thing about Canada, I can give you a real brief. There's 12 players on the field. NFL only has 11. And Canadian can have 12 because the field is bigger. It's 10 yards wider, 10 yards longer. And the end zone is 25 yards deep. So you can be on the 2-yard line and throw a bomb pass like on the 2-yard line into the end zone. And that's how big it is. The field is huge. Let's see. All the guys can be in motion except the offensive line. Everybody can be in motion. The quarterback, let's see. What else is different? Offensive line, defensive line, you have to be a yard off the ball. You can't be right up on the guy. You have to be a yard off the ball. There's an extra DB. There's 2 safeties because it's such a big field. They throw the ball a lot. The goal post is right on the goal line, so I had to get used to that. I remember one time we were in a goal line stance, and I'm right on the center, and the goal post was like a foot from my butt. I was like, man, what the heck? And But I seen guys running to that goalpost on a pass play. It's amazing. It's scary. The CFL is totally different. We play 22 games a season if you go to the Grey Cup, and I was in 5 Grey Cups as a player. So I ended up playing 22 games a season. And I played 10 seasons, and that's probably why I'm in this wheelchair. I put too many games on. So, I'm sorry. Anybody got any questions? I wanted to give you a brief for the CFL. Anybody got any questions? Ask me anything. Oh, yeah, over there. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I tell you who else I sacked. Warren Moon, Doug Flutie. Let's see. I played against Jim McMahon for the Chicago Bears. I played against him when he was at BYU in the Holiday Bowl. I played against Warren Moon. I mean, not Warren Moon, but let's see, Marcus Allen. I played against, let's see, Charles White back in the day, because we played at SC. We played against SC, so I played against a bunch of, John Elway, quarterback for the Broncos. Played against John Elway. Let's see. But yeah, I played against a bunch of guys. Anybody else? Ask me anything. Ask me about my family. I got 2 daughters and 1 son. My son played football. My daughter threw the javelin and the shot put. My baby daughter is a 6-foot volleyball player, and she's pretty good. She's scary good. And my wife, I told you about my wife already, so, and that's about, oh yeah.
I got a question about the coaching.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of youth sports, or it sounds like you did a variety of things.
I did.
What kind of things would you instill in the kids that you want to inspire, that don't necessarily want to be professional, but you want to take those skills out into the world?
Yes.
And the work set, what kind of setting, what kind of things do you do to motivate and help the kids gain those skills?
What I do is, especially with my son and my 2 daughters, I coached AAU in the off season. I had the chance to coach those guys, and I would always tell them to play every sport that you can, because every sport builds a different character. Basketball, football, baseball. You got to have that character to get out into the real world. You got to be able to associate and deal with other people and be on that level where you're not just walking into any kind of thing and you're not aware of what's going on. So I think every sport builds character. Every sport builds character. You got to be able to get along with people. That's the main thing. Got to be able to get along. Anybody else? Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hi. I want to talk about adversity a little bit. How do you handle losing, like not achieving your goal, and then how do you bounce back from that?
That's a good one. Because you got to be able to lose. You got to be able to lose to learn how to win. Because there's not going to be, that's why you see a lot of teams, they'll lose that championship game, but they'll come back that next year because it motivates them to get over that hump. It motivates them. That's why it's important to lose sometimes, and then you'll win eventually. You got to lose before you win. And I think a lot of kids and a lot of players, a lot of people got to know that. Even if you're looking for a job or anything like that, you're not going to get your first job. You're not going to get your second job. But if you stay with it, losing makes you get tougher, makes you pay attention, and losing makes you put all your effort towards winning and towards getting to that goal, what you're trying to do. Losing's good. Losing's not bad. It's all about how you approach it, though. How you approach it after. You gotta stay with it until you get over that hump. Does that kind of answer your question? Okay, yeah. Because I've lost some. Matter of fact, 1989, we lost the Grey Cup with 3 seconds to go on a field goal, man. Broke my heart. Stayed with me that whole off season. But that inspired me to get up every day and work to get ready for that next season. and we made it to the Grey Cup that next year. So that was the worst thing in my life. I'm sitting there, I'm right over the center. I thought we had the game. We scored, and then they got the ball with like 30 seconds and marched down the field. And 3 seconds ago, they kicked a field goal. That ball went right over my head. I was like, oh, man, we lost that, broke my heart. That stayed with me the whole offseason. But that gave me energy, woke me up every day. I was more motivated then than ever. So losing's good. Anybody else?
We have time for one more question.
Okay.
Do you remember a game that you were, or a game or a time that you were super nervous for, and how'd you deal with it?
You know what? Nervous is good too, just like losing. Nervous keeps you on your toes. Nervous keeps you on your toes. And every game, I kind of think I was nervous every game because football is the kind of game, you don't know if you're going to come out of that game alive or not. It's like, wow, this could be it. I could take a hit. Anything can happen in football. Because I've been there. And, when I think back, concussion's a big deal now. But when I think back, concussion wasn't big, and we had those stupid helmets that just had a strap in the helmet back in the day. I don't know how that was protecting my brain. But back in the day, I remember coming to the sidelines, coach be like, Mike, you all right? It's like, I don't know, coach, I'm seeing stars. Oh, just sit there for a minute, you'll be all right, and just shake it off. I swear, I know I had like 30 concussions back in the day. I had to. I come off the sidelines, I'm seeing stars. I know I had some concussions. And nowadays, they take it more serious. But back then, it was no big deal. Oh, get some water, Mike, you be ready, come back, get back in the game. Man, so concussions. Oh, man, so it's a different game. Nervous. I was nervous, yeah, always nervous. But nervous kept me on my edge. It kept me alert. Nervous gets you ready. I think nervous is a good thing. Anybody else? Oh, I think we're done, huh? Man, I appreciate you guys having me. It's been a while. Oh, hey, real quick, I want to show you something. Is Sharon right there? Somebody can help me right here? Who's over there? Help me.
Yeah, I got you.
Just take that rubber band off. I can't get that. Hey, so I'm going to be right outside here. And you guys got to see this. I got 10 championship rings right here. You guys got to come see those, get pictures with them. Believe it or not, I had my, not going to believe this, but I was washing my hands, and I think I had my Washington State ring on my finger. Now I don't have it on my finger. I think it's in the bathroom. I hope it's in there. That's a bummer, but I'll find it. It didn't walk out of here, so it's somewhere around here. Hey, so thanks for having me. I appreciate it.